Good afternoon, Chairman Elliott and Vice Chairman Begeman. My name is Hal Clemensen. I'm a third-generation family farmer from Condie, South Dakota. I'm also the president of the South Dakota Wheat Growers Board of Directors, and I'm speaking today on behalf of myself and Wheat Growers, the largest local farmer-owned grain and agronomy cooperative in the nation, with more than 17,000 owners in North and South Dakota. Thank you for this opportunity to discuss the growing crisis agriculture is facing over the lack of timely rail service to ship our grain to domestic and foreign markets and bring in needed inputs for spring planting. I've given the recorder copies of the full version of the prepared statement for the record. In the interest of time, I will only read the highlights of that statement. Wheat Growers annually handles over 160 million bushels of grain and 400,000 tons of fertilizer through our network of grain elevators and agronomy centers. But our system is now being strangled by a lack of dependable, timely rail service that is creating economic hardship and frustration on the grain side and uncertainty and anxiety on the agronomy side. This past fall, we saw shuttle train cycle times dramatically slow down. Shuttles we loaded harvest generally ship to the Pacific Northwest export market via the BNSF. A typical cycle time for loading in South Dakota, shipping to the PNW, unloading, and then returning to South Dakota for the next loading generally takes 12 to 13 days. Normally, a grain shuttle will load an average of 2.5 times per month and cycle back. But this fall, the shuttle cycled in an average of 18 to 20 days, or 1.5 trips per month. This increased cycle time effectively reduced the amount of grain shipped by a given shuttle by 40%. And our cycle times continue to deteriorate, with current cycle times pushed out to 24 days, or only 1.3 trips per month. The amount of time a shuttle sits at one of our facilities, waiting on the railroad after being loaded in 15 hours or less, accounted for most of this delay. Prior to this year, origin dwell times generally were less than 1 day. However, we have seen individual shuttles sit at origin for up to 10 days. Overall, dwell times have averaged over 5 days. Because of the railroad's slow performance, the grain handling industry, such as our cooperative, has suffered economic losses. We have provided you with an outline of those costs and losses in our prepared statement. Now, farmers like me are seeing lower prices paid at elevators as the market adjusts to the price due to higher shuttle train costs. The basis price for corn in our North and South Dakota trade territory is now approximately 50 cents per bushel less than the average of the prior 2 years. An even more dramatic effect to my farming operation would be if my fertilizer supply does not arrive in time to effectively fertilize my crops this spring. There's additional detail about the overall economic effect in our prepared statement. The Canadian Pacific situation is also dramatically poor. The CP Railroad has recently sold the portion of the line that crosses the state to a short line operator and expects to close on that transaction in the next couple of months. However, as of early April, we still have not received all of our January car orders, nor any of our February, March, nor April orders. The CP is behind by 1,900 cars to South Dakota Wheat Growers. It is soon planting time in the Dakotas, and fertilizer needs to reach my farm and many others this spring. I have prepaid for my fertilizer needs for the year, but now I'm wondering if the railroad will be able to deliver. It's yet another economic crunch that is hitting us all. We have documented the effect that can have in our prepared statement. The BNSF has been the premier U.S. rail operator over the past decade. We truly hope that the recent congestion and slowing rail service issues can be resolved quickly, and they can meet or exceed prior performance standards. Wheatgors implores the Surface Transportation Board to protect agriculture's access to and utilization of the constrained rail capacity that this crisis brings. We do not want to see agricultural traffic deprioritized or, worse yet, demarketed. We would also ask the board to stay vigilant in monitoring the Canadian Pacific as the line in South Dakota has transitioned to a new owner. Until the ownership changes and the operating system rolls to the new owner, the CP still has an obligation to service the line and should not be simply allowed to walk away from the backload of cars that they have created this winter. We also urge you to continue to make sure agriculture's needs are heard and addressed. Dependable, timely railroad service is critical to our economic survival. Thank you for this opportunity to express my views and concerns. I am available to respond to questions the board may have.
Thank you.